today, but they aren't, so sorry about that. There we go. So now I have my page all ready to be folded because this is a tall and skinny journal. So I'll edge everything at the same time, but look how pretty that is. Could go either way. I just did it that way. Okay, so there's one page. I'm going to glue these other two pages together that we talked about. Okay. So I've got one page ready. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make some of those pages and then come back and show you what my signature looks like. I showed you how I go through all of my digital papers and all my junk papers that I have and try and decide what to put into a signature. This journal that I'm making with you, a tall and skinny journal, it has about a 1/2 inch, I think is what it is, spine on it. And I decided to do that this time. Yeah, it's just a 1/2 inch. Because the last time I didn't have a spine and it became a gator, like it would never close. So I decided that I'm gonna do 2 6 signatures. And this is the first time I've done a 2 signature journal. So you'll get to watch me with that. So the cover, front and back, is all done. I've edged it. I'm happy with it. I don't think I'm gonna bother covering this because it's brown and it goes with my color scheme. So what have I put in? What do my signatures look like? Well, these are very loosely put together. So I'm gonna let's walk through them. This will probably be my first one because I love this piece of paper. So it's going to look like that. As I showed you before, what I did was I took all of my digital papers, and this is my digital paper, and I just glued it to the back. It's up to you. You can print everything single-sided and then glue them together, or you can print them single-sided and run them back through your printer and print again on the back side. That's totally up to you. In any way, I'm using matte photo paper. So when you put the two of them together, it makes a really sturdy page that will stand up to mixed media things, which you're gonna see. I've already started stamping on some other things. So the other thing is cutting all my papers out. They're not perfect, and I haven't edged any of this yet with my Distress ink. So I'm gonna be doing that. Right now, I just wanna show you what my first signature looks like. And as you notice, when I showed you the digital papers that I've created, I've already added a lot of pieces of ephemera. So this page, this could be a great pocket with some lace on it and tuck some things in. The other thing I love to use for doing coffee dyed paper is graph paper. It's a somewhat thicker paper, at least the pad that I got. And when you put when you spray it, and I use stencils when I do my coffee dyeing paper, it comes out really nice. And there's a piece of that gorgeous green brocade. And then there's a nice bird. And then I'm adding that piece of netting, that embroidered netting that I showed you earlier. There's another piece that will go there. And then I took, I have a blue kit that is a horizontal kit, and I decided to use it, and you'll see when you get to the back part of it. What I did was, yes, it's smaller. I like to have lots of different, I don't want everything to be the exact same size because it's more interesting when there's all these little fun parts like fabric and different size papers. So that will be there. There's some more birds and fun. Here's a piece of the fabric from the cover that I'm going to insert. There is a piece of dictionary paper that I actually glued to one of my digital papers. And then I found some of these, I'm gonna forget, acetates. My friend who's cleaning out all of her scrapbooking gave this to me. It was a big 12 by 12 piece, and I cut it down and I thought, wow, it looks so perfect in here with that brown. And then inside of it, I'm using a piece of the concordance paper, and I've already stamped all that. That's what I was kind of taking a little bit of time to do. So it's smaller, it's stamped. And what I think I'm gonna do is use this piece of very fine handmade paper that I've also embossed. Once I sew the signatures in, that's gonna be like a tuck point, and then I'm gonna use one of the little envelopes. And this particular one You will get these envelope templates in almost all my big kits. Let's see, can I get it right in front of you? And I just cut it out and put it together. And then obviously what I do is I lined it, and I had a little piece of music paper that I put in there. And then I just did a half circle on there. So I think I'll put a little love note or a Bible verse in there. So that's halfway through. So then you flip it back over. Again, I've already stamped. There's the acetate. Here's a full sheet. Here's the fabric. And what I did was, it was wide, and I already sewed it on the sewing machine, so I've made a pocket, so I'll be able to put things in there. Usually I don't do that, and then I decide later, and then it's too hard to get it under the sewing machine, so I was thinking ahead this time. Another sheet of paper, and then here's that horizontal sheet that I showed you. So I just folded it, and I might end up having this be like another tuck spot on there. Another piece of my digitals, another digital, the back of the lace netting, another full page there, the back of the graph paper, the music paper, and that. So that right now is my first signature that's going to go in. I'll show you how it looks in a minute as a try on in the cover. Okay, this is the second signature. Love this piece of paper from my digital kit. Backed it with, this was the one I made earlier, where I put some of the pieces. I have old hymnal pages in here, and then a piece of the green kit, and then that was in the ephemera kit. And then here is that antique hanky that my friend gave me, and you'll see what I did with it on the other page. And it kind of got glued on there, but that's okay, because I had to make it narrower, so it's already kind of glued in. Okay, can you tell the glue is sticking? Then there's the next page, another one that I added I backed it with 3 pieces. Another green page. Oops, there we go. That blue page, and here's another one of the horizontal pieces that I've folded that'll be in here. Another piece of concordance page that I've already stamped on. And inside, this is a piece of handmade paper that I embossed. This is a picture of my great aunt, who's 83, her baby picture. And that's what's going to be in there. So I've already prepared this little insert like that. And I love this. I don't know what century that's from. It's just fun. And then here's that folded again, like that. And a nice butterfly on there. A concordance page has been added. Lots of pretty pages. That. And here's the back of the hanky. So what I had to do, I'm going to have to fix this because I walked away after I glued it. I got glued the wrong way, but that's okay. It was a little bit too wide. I didn't want it sticking out so far. So basically I just put a fold on it, and then I think once I sew the signature in, it'll be okay. The other thing was there was no embroidery on the back of the hanky. So I took one of my big stamps and just used Stays On and stamped it. So that's another hint, mixed media, that if you have fabric, you can also always stamp on it. That's if you have a collection of stamps, which I have thousands of stamps I've been collecting for 20 some years. And there's the back of that. So those are my 2 signatures. This is how I think it's going to look in there. So that is looking really, really pretty. Then I had this idea. I wanted to put something really great on the front of this. What to put on here. And so I'm going to add this into one of my kits. I found this, created it basically. So this will be a digital. And what is the G for? God. Because I told you I am a faith artist. And so I'm always trying to incorporate God. So that's probably going to be on there. And then I was thinking ahead already, but I'll wait to do that. I'm thinking maybe I'll put something like that underneath it, maybe ruffle it or something like that. And I like that. I'm thinking, that is going to be my focal point for the home page. Great coloring, just goes with my whole design. I think that's going to work. The other thing I have to think about now is, do I want some kind of a tie closure, which I typically like. So I have to decide what I'm going to do. I have a couple ideas, some of those pieces of that old fabric that I was thinking about putting in, but I haven't done. I could cut this in half and sew it like underneath there, glue it in there, and then it would just be tying on the side, which I kind of like. That's my first thought right now. I've got lots of other things. And I just realized that was supposed to be the back. It is the back. This is my front. Now maybe it's not even gonna work now that it's not as dark. Oh, it will still work. I would maybe put a darker piece underneath that. But those are my thoughts for right now. So what I'm going to be doing now, off camera, because I don't think you want to see that, I am going to edge all of the papers, get the signature ready, and then I will start recording again when I sew the signature in. As I mentioned, I have only done the 3-hole pamphlet stitch with one signature. I've never done more than one. So this will be a learning experience for both of us. So that's my next section of the video coming up, will be that. Next steps for putting together my junk journal. Off camera, what I have done is I've gone back and taken every single page out of each signature and used the bone folder and made a really good crease so that I can get it in there as tight as I can, and I've reassembled it and I'm just holding it together like with those clips like that. So then I'm going to do the pamphlet stitch. Hopefully I can show you how I do it. I'm not going to say I'm the expert. I haven't done too many of them. I'm still learning. But one of the things that someone shared, which worked really well, was to take a piece of paper, the length of your spine and the width of your spine, and then do it through a series of folding. It's a lot easier to figure out where you're going to put your holes. As I said earlier, this is going to be a 2-signature junk journal. So what I have done, and I'm going to show you, I think this is from Kathy at Kathy's Garden, excuse me, on YouTube. I love her. Every day she posts some wonderful thing that you can make for your junk journal, so the parts of your junk journal. So what I've done, her tip, which was a really good tip to help, because if you're taking white paper and you make folds, sometimes you can't really see the fold, was to use your ink. So I'm going to walk you through how I did this one. So the first thing I'm going to do, I don't really need the middle because I'm not making, just one signature. If you were just going to make one signature, you would just fold this in half, okay? But I'm making 2. So what I have to do is actually, I'm going to do it because it's easier to fold. We are going to fold it in half. So as I said, I'm not the expert. I'm just going to show you how I made that. So if you try and match it up, and hopefully you used a paper cutter that was pretty accurate, of course, then you've got to be able to fold accurately too, right? Okay. So I'm going to fold it in half. And again, it's junk journaling, so it's not has to be the most precise thing in the world because nobody will see it. It will all be stuck together anyway. You fold it in half, which is great. So now you have that halfway mark. And then I'm going to take each edge and fold it into the half. Let me switch my glasses real quick. Then I'm going to fold that into half because I said I'm going to do 2 signatures. So we're going to fold that into the halfway point, which then gives me the halfway point of the side piece. Again, that's all like math stuff. If you're good at math and using your ruler, go do it your way. Oh my gosh, every time I keep trying to crease it, it moves. Okay, let's hold it right in the middle first. Okay, her secret, and I didn't even do her secret first. Let's go backwards. Okay, did I really fold this totally in half? And I can see that I really didn't. So it's not, okay, you know what? I can't really show you this. Let's start with back here. I folded it in half. And if you, when you fold it in half, then go ahead and mark with, just ink it so that you're going to see what that half part was, okay? Then I took the outer edge and folded it to the half mark, okay? So now I've got my line on both sides off of the half point. So where I'm going to be, one signature will be here and one signature will be here. Once you do, if you start from the beginning and fold it in half this way, okay, mark that part, which we did, so now we know where that is. We know that halfway of that. And then all I did was take the ends and fold it to the half, and then I darkened that. So hopefully that makes sense. And it's actually fairly easy because now what I have is, and I'll show you. So my exact point for the one is right there. And on this edge will be over here, okay? So as you can see, I've got the one hole there and the one hole there. And then in the middle, but not in the middle of the paper, the middle of each of the outside lines, I've gone ahead and made my hole. And I've done that on the third. So this is a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. And as I said, I apologize if this is not the simplest as I'm explaining it. Okay, so once I have my holes, which I do, now I'm going to lay that, excuse me, into my spine. And I'm going to use some clamps, which I think I had some here. Okay, so we're going to clamp that on that end, and I'm going to clamp it on this end. So there. Now let's make sure that I am in the middle where those holes are going to come. So if we go back to there, there is my 1/2 inch. Okay, so do I feel it? No, actually, you know what? I'm going by the brown paper, which is a little bit off. So let's move this. I think I had it too high. I think it goes back a little bit there. So I'm eyeballing this. Again, these are handmade journals, so. Okay, let's see. Now, if I can feel that. Let's see if I go through there. Actually, let me use my poker tool. Let's make sure. There we go. Yes, that's the 1 inch. So now I've got it aligned correctly. Can you see that where it's coming through? Okay, so there's my first hole on that side. And then here's the, yes, perfect. I actually got it right this time. That's good. So I just go in, push it in, and wiggle it around to make the hole big enough so that hopefully I can find it again and see it. Okay, we're going to do that with this. There we go. So I've got my 3 holes ready for the one signature. And here is, yes, perfect. 3 holes. Almost done for the next signature. There we go. Yes. Okay, and then there's that one. Okay, of course you really don't see them from this edge, which is kind of tough. Let's just go back in this way. Make sure that I have them. There we go. And I've got these here. I think the other thing that I probably made this a little bit more difficult for myself is because, see, this is wider than the actual spine because I wanted it to look that way. So that's okay. But it's harder when you're trying to be geometric and make sure you have all your things in the right spot. Okay, so I've gone both ways, and I feel like I will be able to go into those very clearly. I'm going to use black waxed thread, and typically, so I'm going to need 2 pieces. Typically you do 1, 2, 3, plus a little bit more to tie. So there's my one. Let's do the second one so it's all ready. So the length 1, 2, 3. And I bought a kit from Amazon with waxed threads. Came with a whole different, lots of different colors, which I'm really happy with. Mostly I do beiges and browns, so I was really happy with this waxed thread from Amazon. And then when I just put my needle, there's my needle. Let's put bought myself some new needles because I could not see to get them in there. Okay, so the first, let's make sure I'm at the front cover. This is my front cover. This is my first signature. So before I start sewing, I want to make this, again, make sure I have it really nice and tight. And by tight, I mean that it's all really in a deep fold. I feel like that is pretty good the way I've got it. Okay, so let me put, I'm going to use some different clips. So that way I'm holding all the big papers together. Let's put that on. Okay. The problem is when you're having a shorter piece in the middle, it moves around. So we'll deal with that after I get my clips on the edges. There's that one. Here's one more. Okay, so I feel like I've got all the tall pages clamped together. Now let's make sure I've got this exactly where I want it. That's going to be a little bit more difficult. Let's try and see if I can use, oh, it's either not long enough. Rats. Well, hopefully once I go through the first hole, I should be okay. Okay, let's take off the handy guide, and I'm going to put, okay, let me think this through for a second. Yeah, I want that right in the middle of it. So basically, I'm going to go against the middle, against that perfect fold that I've got. Let's see, do I have it in the right spot? So first, let's get it on the edges. This is a lot of work. In case you hadn't noticed, it's a lot of work to get this all lined up. Okay, so I'm going to, let's see, do I want to punch this into there first? That's my front cover. And there are my holes, so that should work. I hope this works, especially since I'm on camera. I hope I know what I'm doing. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is go through the paper first, because I also have a piece of plastic in here, so this is going to be a lot more. Whoops, I'm on the wrong spot. Yeah, I will get this right. Okay, so I'm using, in case I make this all wrong, I'm using the actual middle one to go through because that's where the crease is. Okay, so this should go there. Yeah, a little off, but not too bad. Okay, there's one. There we go. Somebody else gave that tip. You go from the fold, which is better. So let's try that. And then this one, gonna go in from the fold this direction. There we go. Okay, now let's make sure that the holes are all lined up perfectly together again. There was my first one. There's the first one correct, because this is the first. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, because I made the holes in the signature, I'm going to go back and clamp it down to the cover so that I'm going in the right holes for each of them. That's the trick here. Let's clamp this all together. Okay, so, and I went right through perfectly, yay. Okay, so that one's good. And let's move these clamps to clamping the whole signature and the whole signature. Okay, so that first one is correct. Sorry if I keep going off screen. The first one's correct. Let's see if I got the second one correct. Where is it going through? I have to be careful because I'm angling it and I don't think it's supposed to be angled. Where is that hole? This is the problem that I have. Everybody says this is so easy. I think it's difficult because you can't see. There we go. There we go. Yes. Okay. That's correct. And number 3, please be in the right spot. Nope, I'm not in the right spot. Now I'm in the right spot. Okay. Whew. Okay. I'm praying for this one. Like I said, I've never done the 2 signatures. Now I know why. This is so much work. Okay, if I come from the outside, then that means the tie is going to be on the outside, which is not what I want. So I'm going to go back through the middle because I want the tails to go through, stay on the inside. Okay, let's see, where is it? Why am I having a problem with this? Okay, I feel like I've got something messed up here. It has to go through there. Oh, that's the correct hole down there, but is this the correct hole right here? Thank you for being patient and watching. I'll probably try and speed this up when I edit my video. Oh my gosh, this is very difficult. I can't find the hole. Okay, I can get it through there. There we go, finally. Okay, so I pulled it through. Gonna leave a tail. On the outside, we are then going to go backwards. Oh, sorry about that. So many pieces here. Crazy, crazy. Okay, there's my outside hole. Does it come through the right one in this? That's the trick. A little bit off. Let's try it again. I always say, oh, it's a little off, and then at the end I go, it was way off. I guess what they always say. There we go. Oh, perfect. Okay, that went through perfect. Okay, I'm going to pull that pretty taut. Now, let's get the next one. Okay, so now we're going to cross over and go down to this end. Let's see, can we get it in? I used to use a thimble all the time. I don't even know if I have one left anymore. Okay. Wow. There. Okay, I get it into here. No, too far up. It's supposed to be down that way. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to use this thing to push it through. No, I'm way off. Way too, supposed to be out here, which is supposed to be up there. Okay, let's try that. Oh my gosh, this is really difficult. I watched a video from somebody the other day, I can't remember her name because she's new to me, and she showed how to make a junk journal with no sewing. I think I'm going to go back and watch that one again because I love how she hinged all the pages together. Looked gorgeous. Now, I don't think she has many pages as I'm trying to do in this journal, so of course then it gets caught on everything. There we go. Now, not doing too bad. I'll pull this one. Okay, pull that one. So I want to pull them both taut. Yeah, mine are never going to be straight. I just have to give that up, Diane. And you want to go back through the hole, but not back through your exact thread. You want to go beside it. And that's a fun secret too that I'm not sure I'm real good at. Okay, let's see. There. Okay. Almost one done. Yay. Okay. Whew. Okay. Yes, I did it. It's not perfectly straight, but it's close enough. So now what you want to do is I want to go one underneath the thread that's lengthwise because I'm going to tie it around those, but I want to make sure that I have it as taut as I could be. So let's make sure that's nice and tight. That one's tight. Okay, let's pull that. Just pull it a little bit more. Okay. As I was creating this part 2 of making a tall and skinny junk journal, I realized that somehow I lost a piece of film. I was creating the signatures and sewing them in last week, and I ended this, what you just saw, I ended the video with, I'm going to go ahead and do the second signature. I did video it, but I don't know what happened to it. So here's the pickup, and I thought I would just show you. You saw how I was struggling, but I'm actually kind of happy. I'm only off a slight bit right there, but this one, the second signature was nice and straight. Yay. The first one's a little bit off, but for the first time for me doing 2 signatures, I'm happy with it. Here, as it turned out, I mentioned before, this is now the cover. I thought that was going to be the cover, but it's not. But anyway, that works out. So what I wanted to show you is how it works with the signatures. And then I'm going to end this video today. I'm going to start working next. Part 3 will be, now let's actually add all of our ephemera. And what is the theme of this junk journal going to be? I thought a lot about it over the weekend, and I just was thinking about, I want to teach people how to add their faith, which I'm very good at doing that. But what was the topic of this? What's this theme going to be? Because I like to do theme journals. Anyway, this is now going to be, this is going to be a journal about faith, the faith walk. So I've changed it from G to F. I think that's the one I'm going to use, but you'll see all that in the next video. So let's just look through and see how this operates with 2 signatures. First of all, when it's open flat, you'll see they actually fit in. And even if I get really chunky and put lots of stuff in here, it's going to be a little bit of a gator mouth, but look, I still have some working to go. And as I mentioned before, I think I'm going to add, I'm not sure if this would be the fabric because it matches that. I'm thinking about adding ties to tie it together because I really like that. I've also got some really nice sari silk. So those are all the finishing touches, which we're going to get into in part 3. So let's just walk through what a tall, skinny junk journal looks like with 2 signatures. So you saw some of the papers. Most of these papers are from a couple of kits that I have in my shop. What's beautiful about digitals, if you are not on the digital bandwagon, is that once you buy a kit from someone like me on Etsy, you can reprint these over and over and over again. Unlike when you buy a paper pad and you use that one piece of paper, maybe you got two in it, and now it's to be no more. And especially now, because the companies are just not making the paper pads. So digital is the way to go. I just switched over to digital probably in the last 6 months, and now I create my own digitals. So here's the first page. I'm going to probably save this to talk about what this journal is about. I usually like to do that. This is, again, one of my digital pages, and I showed you earlier that when I glued the 2 pages back to back, because I printed this singly instead of double-sided, it doesn't matter if they don't really match, because look, the minute you ink it up on the edges with the vintage inks, it looks like fine to me. And then here's a piece of, as I had mentioned earlier, graph paper, which I love. I love this dark green kit that I made. These are going to be really pretty backgrounds that you can put some fun things on. My fabric ended up being sewn into the signature, which I'm very happy about, and it is over it, and I like that. There's some more pages. Here's that short, that's the horizontal kit, which I like. Again, the shorter pages. Here's a piece of the fabric from the cover. I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I may put another piece of fabric on it, or paper. Stay tuned in part 3. Here is the, yeah, I just forgot the plastic. Well, it'll come to me. And here's the very middle of the first signature. And you fold it back over. There's the fabric with the pocket. Some more music paper, some more paper. Here's the back of that horizontal piece, which will be a nice tuck spot, I think. There's some more pages. There's the rest of the fabric that was sewn into the first signature. Some more pages. There's the end of the graph paper. And here is some hymnal pages. And then there's the very back. So you see what happens. Well, I didn't bother covering that brown up because it looks just like it goes with the journal. So I'm pretty happy with it. So here's the second signature, which you did not get to see in that other video that I've sewn in. I found, a friend gave me this beautiful antique napkin, handkerchief. And so you'll see what I did when you get to the back part of it. More pages. This I collaged 3 different pieces of paper. This is not a digital kit. This is some paper that I just ran through my embossing machine. And I like that in there. Some more of that pretty light green paper, some of the blue paper. Here's another one of the horizontal pieces. Here's the middle of this one. And this is a embossing folder that I've had for ages. And this is a picture of my great aunt. So she is 83. That's her baby picture. And I've included in there, and I think I've something really fun I'm going to do to really perk that up. And I just loved that picture in there. And here's the back of that fold. So I've got another fold in there. And this is a concordance page. And here's the back of the handkerchief. What I did was I stamped it with StazOn, just a really fun antique thing. And I think that made it nice because otherwise it would just been this white piece of cotton in here. So that's what I chose to do with it. And then there's that page, and then there's the very back. So it's all completed. As I said, come back for part 3, and what you will see is how we're going to add our faith to this, and I think you're going to love. I actually ended up creating a whole new faith kit just with faith verses and quotes. So thanks so much. Blessings to you for coming along with me on this faith journey. And as you know, my whole goal is to teach people and to show people and to share and influence, inspire people to put your faith to life and put it in any of the creations that you make. Blessings.